One sunny afternoon, Barbie was sitting in her studio, a space usually bursting with life and color, but today it felt strangely quiet. She was surrounded by sketchbooks overflowing with half finished ideas, tubes of paint left open, and bolts of fabric waiting to be transformed. She had been trying to design a new fashion line, one that would truly inspire and excite, but nothing felt right. It was as if her inner sparkle, the very thing that made her design so special, had simply faded away. She sighed, a sound that seemed to get lost among the silent potential of the room. Maybe I'm just not as creative as I used to be, she whispered to a mannequin draped in a plain muslin prototype. Her shoulders slumped, and for the first time in a long time, Barbie felt a genuine sense of defeat. Just as that lonely thought settled in, she heard a tiny, bell-like voice from the open window, a sound as delicate as a whisper on the breeze. Perched on the windowsill, bathed in the afternoon sun, was a little fairy, her wings glimmering like they were spun from silver dust and morning dew. She hovered there for a moment, a tiny beacon of light in the quiet studio. "Don't you dare say that," the fairy said, her voice small but firm, filled with a surprising kindness. "I'm Flora, the fairy of forgotten dreams. I come to help people just like you, the ones who forget how truly magical they are." Barbie blinked, her eyes wide with astonishment. She rubbed them, wondering if the long hours and creative block were making her see things. "A fairy? For me?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. Flora smiled, a gentle, reassuring expression that made her tiny face glow. "Yes, for you," she confirmed, flitting closer to land gracefully on Barbie's large oak desk. "You stopped believing in your own sparkle, Barbie, and that's my cue. That's where I come in." Barbie let out another longer sigh. It felt good to finally say it out loud to someone, even a magical someone. "But I've tried everything," she explained, gesturing to the piles of discarded sketches. "Every design, every color combination, every silhouette, I just can't seem to make it perfect. Nothing feels good enough." Flora listened patiently, then tapped one of Barbie's sketchbooks with a tiny, knowing finger. "Maybe perfection isn't the magic you're looking for," she suggested softly. "Maybe the real magic is in the passion." With a gentle, almost playful wave of her tiny, flower-tipped wand, Flora brought a touch of her world into Barbie's. And suddenly, the most incredible thing happened. The sketches on the page began to stir. Lines of graphite and ink lifted, swirling into three-dimensional forms. Barbie's dress designs began to walk right off the page, twirling and pirouetting across her desk in ethereal fabrics of soft color and light. A ball gown of sapphire blue waltzed with a sundress of buttercup yellow, their sketched forms now full of life and movement. "You see," Flora said, her voice filled with an uplifting warmth. "Your ideas are already beautiful. They are full of life and joy. You just need to trust them, to let them be what they are." Barbie watched, mesmerized, a slow smile beginning to form on her lips. The doubt that had clouded her mind began to clear, replaced by a glimmer of her old wonder. "But what if people don't like my new designs?" she asked, the old fear of judgment creeping back in. Flora's wings shimmered with a brighter light. "Then design for the girl who needs confidence, not for the world that gives approval," she said wisely. "Design for the person who needs to feel brave, or joyful, or simply seen." Barbie paused, and in that moment, Flora's words unlocked a memory deep inside her. She suddenly saw her younger self, sitting on her bedroom floor, surrounded by scraps of fabric, carefully sewing tiny, imperfect dresses for her dolls. She wasn't trying to be the world's best designer. She was just creating, smiling, and having fun. It was pure, unburdened joy. That was the magic. A new energy surged through Barbie. She picked up her pencil again, but this time, her hand moved with a different purpose. She wasn't chasing perfection anymore. She was chasing a feeling. She began drawing from the heart, letting her emotions guide her. Bright, bold, wonderfully imperfect designs filled the page, designs full of joy, color, and unrestrained personality. She drew a dress that looked like a burst of laughter and a jacket that felt like a warm hug. Flora giggled, a sound like tiny bells ringing, as she flew around the studio, sprinkling shimmering sparkles into the air that seemed to dance with Barbie's renewed energy. "Now that's the magic I came to see," she chirped. Hours passed like minutes, the setting sun painting the studio in hues of orange and pink. The room was no longer silent. It was filled with the scratch of pencil on paper, the rustle of fabric, and Barbie's happy hum. By evening, her studio was once again a vibrant haven of creativity, filled with laughter, vibrant sketches, and a rainbow of colors. She had rediscovered her dream, not because of a fairy's wand, but because she had finally started believing in herself again. As the last rays of sunlight faded, Flora floated down to rest on Barbie's shoulder. She looked at the wonderful, joyful chaos of creation around them and smiled contentedly. "My work here is done," she said softly, her voice warm and gentle. "Just promise me one thing, Barbie. Never, ever forget your dreams again. Don't let them get dusty on a shelf." Barbie turned to look at the tiny fairy, her heart full of gratitude. She nodded, her eyes shining with renewed purpose. "I won't," she promised. "I'll follow them, with a little bit of magic and a whole lot of heart." Flora winked, her tiny eyes twinkling like stars. "That's the real secret," she whispered. "The magic doesn't come from a wand. Real magic begins the moment you decide to begin." And with a final brilliant shimmer of golden light, Flora disappeared into the beautiful twilight of the sunset, leaving Barbie alone but not lonely, surrounded by her dreams, ready to bring them to life. And so, the moral of our story is a simple but powerful one. You don't need a fairy or a magic wand to make your dreams come true. The most powerful magic of all is already inside you. It's the courage to believe in yourself, the passion to keep going even when things get tough, and the kindness to let your own unique sparkle shine through. Thank you so much for joining us for this story. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more magical tales. We'd love to have you back again soon. Until next time, keep dreaming.